Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be back on the same YouTube channel. We are going to today talk about SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Welcome to all of you. This is Dr. Gayatri Harikumar. The topic for the day is Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals which are framed by the United Nations in agreement with all the member nations. SDG. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by all the United Nations member states in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, that is our Mother Earth, now and into the future. At its heart, there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are an urgent call for action by all countries, developed and developing, in a global partnership. We, that is the Indian nation, is a chartered member of the United Nations. The first goal is SDG Goal 1, that is poverty eradication. It aims at ending poverty in all its form everywhere. First one, the main goal is poverty. We are just going to see a few tips about this. Poverty is more than just the lack of income or access to resources. It manifests itself in diminished opportunities for education, social discrimination, and the inability to participate in decision making processes. So, here we do not mean by poverty just lacking resources, it also means no equal opportunity for getting educated. There is a discrimination in the society, and you're not able to participate in the decision making process. We're going to see few statistics. In India, 27.5% of the population is very poor. That is, 1 out of every 4 person in India is poor. This is as on date. In the global level, number of people living in poverty has reduced considerably by 50% since 1990, but still 647 million people of the world are still living in extreme poverty. The target for 2030 is, by 2030, eradicate extreme poverty for all the people everywhere, currently measured as people living in less than USD, that is United States dollar, 1.25 per day. That is, we are having people who are living with this less income. 17 to 1.25 approximately, you will get around say 100 rupees. People are living only with 100 rupees everywhere, so that kind of people we categorize them as very poor. So the 2030 aims to bring an end to this kind of an extreme poverty situation. What can we do from our end? We and the government can do. Half of the people live in poverty, but everyone deserves the chance to prosper. What can we do about it? A lot. We can ensure social protection. That is, the government can give access to health care, protection against unemployment, that is creating more jobs. I know in COVID situation it has become very worse, but anyway we are having a lot of gig economy. Temporary jobs will get created. The economy will definitely boost, because that is the news for the day. The RBI governor has told today that the economy is slowly catching up. So I hope that we will fight against this unemployment problem and come out very prosperous. And what can we do? The government can also contribute in giving equal access to all the people for things like providing basic transportation facilities, giving labor and land opportunities, giving technology so that it is everybody has an access worldwide, and business and job opportunities are created for the welfare of all the people. Next, moving on to the second SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 2, is zero hunger. That is, it's very difficult when you think of one person not having food and the other person wasting the same food. So, what is the goal of this? End hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Now we are seeing a lot of people moving to the native places and hometowns because they feel that they are very secure there, and people are wanting to pursue agriculture because they know that food is the main important thing that we require to survive in this world than all the other luxuries and essentials. So food is most important. So we see that consumer goods industry, in that food is the main industry which is picking up and thriving today. Working to improve food and agriculture can make to combat climate change, bolster economic growth, and contribute to peace and stability in societies around the world. So that is the main aim for this SDG. Moving on to the statistics part, in India, 3 out of every 10 children are undernourished, which means they're not having the good food to get themselves geared up. In 15 to 49 years age group, we see that 57% of the women are anemic. That is, they are not having the required health with blood flow levels, which is very recommendable. Which is very commendable. So in the global level, you see that 1 out of every 9 people are undernourished globally. The target for 2030 is end hunger by doubling agricultural productivity and ensure access by all the people, in particular the poor and vulnerable people in vulnerable situations, including infants, to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food for all the people all the year around. So we are seeing that in 2030, the worldwide, it has been agreed that agricultural productivity has to be doubled. There should be no poor people. They should be given, poor people and the vulnerable people should be given food security, and they should be given, importantly, nutritious food to keep themselves healthy. What can we do? Goal 2 is zero hunger. What can we as individuals and the government do? Some people have so much food, they throw part of it away while others have too little. That's what I told. There's a very big imbalance. People, one side we have too much of food, another side we don't have food at all. And so too much only for available for many and too little for other part. So what can we do? Eating only one sort of food causes all kinds of weaknesses. So in order to keep ourselves nourished, we should have a very good balance of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. You would have all read or studied in your science classes in your early years. Here's what we can do about it: end malnutrition, improve education and social programs for mothers, children, and the elderly, so that everybody are eating nutritious food which gives them a balanced diet and a proper energy balance for their required for their human body. Prevent and manage natural disasters like flooding and erosion. What we can do? We can you ensure that we don't cut trees and forests. That is, we are going to talk about here about environmental conservation. Then supports small farmers, especially women and indigenous people. So we are going to now today the Prime Minister has told vocal for local. So we are going to patronize local people and give importance to our local farmers. Protect variety of crops and farm animals. That's of course, if you patronize agriculture, then you will do all these kind of measures. Moving on to the next goal is good health and well-being. That's our third goal. Very important. Today we know that it is not the luxuries of gold or cars or a big house that is essential. What all of us strive today is to eat healthy food, stay at home in a safe place, and ensure that we come out of the situation in a very good manner, so that we are returning with a bouncing back with a good health. So that is the third goal of the United Nations: ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all the people of all the ages. Protection from disease is not only fundamental to survival, but it enables opportunity for everyone and strengthens economic growth and prosperity. Now, what does our health got to do with economic growth? Because only if we are very good and healthy and strong, we will be able to work well. Then productivity will improve, our organizations will improve, our national economy will improve. So it's a chain. So we as an individual, if we take care of ourselves, then the nation becomes strong. Moving on to the statistics, in India, we see under 5 years of age, out of that, 47 million children are stunted. That means they are having an impaired growth. They are not having proper growth in their body. And 26 million people or children are wasted. That is, they're having acute undernutrition. Globally, we see that 5.4 million children die before they turn 5 years. So that's a very pathetic statistic, which means they are not having nutritious food. That's why those children are dying. Target for 2030 is by 2030, reduce the global maternity mortality ratio to less than 70 per 1 lakh live births. That is, in out of 1 lakh, we should see to it that we are having deaths lesser than 70, which will be a very healthy statistic. So the world is going to strive to achieve this kind of a rate. Substantially reduce the number of deaths and illnesses from hazardous chemicals and air, water and soil pollution and contamination. So we are going to see that we're maintaining a very healthy world and environment around. What can we do? Good health and well-being. What does that really mean? It means things like this: a safe mother and child and a healthy birth cycle. The mother is given nutritious food so that she gives birth to a healthy baby. Next, we are having good childhood, children going through a very happy childhood with all the proper food given to them at all stages of their life, and they're also given proper vaccinations as and when required. Then we are having preventable diseases, which means contagious disease. We've seen this COVID is a contagious disease. You're not supposed to touch anyone. You're supposed to be very clean, washing hands. Like that, we have to see that we are able to maintain a social distancing and keep ourselves contagious free. Then free from addiction, all kinds of addiction, whatever it is. It should be, we should, children, young people, adults, adolescents should ensure that they are not addicted to something. Addiction means doing something which is harmful for your body and which stops your psychological well-being. Next, knowing your body and rights. Of course, the children should be educated about sexual and reproductive health. It is not a very bad topic because it's not a taboo. People don't talk about it, but it's very essential because we see a lot of child abuse happening. We see children being raped everywhere. That to be only when we create awareness to the children about their body parts, their rights, and what they're supposed to do, what they can do to alarm their parents in case of any crisis or problem. We should educate those things to the children. Access to health care, of course, all of us go to private hospitals when we are having a problem. In the developed countries, we see that people only go to government hospitals. Why is that? Because the healthcare is, we feel that it's a very safe to go to private hospitals. The situation has to turn around. We should be able to get, all of us should be able to get good healthcare facility at all the government hospitals. Moving on to the next goal is SDG 4, which is quality education. The most essential thing, because knowledge is power. Only when we get true education, we think that we are truly supposed to be possessing a lot of wealth, not by having monetary riches. Education is the true wealth. Quality education ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Education is a force multiplier which enables self-reliance, boosts economic growth by enhancing skills, and improves people's lives by opening up opportunities for better livelihoods. So only when we are truly educated, we become more confident, self-reliant, then we are able to build our skills, then we are able to grow as well as contribute to the national economic growth and development. The statistics say that in India, among youth, 92% female and 94% male are literate. The gross enrollment ratio in higher education institutions stands at 25.8%. At the global level, 86.2% of the population are literate, which is fairly commendable. The target for 2030 is ensure equal access for all women and men to affordable and quality education, which provides them technical, vocational, and tertiary skills and education, including universities. So we find that 2030 target is having equal opportunities for men and women, and not only building the education with other skills, but technical skills where they're able to have practical hands-on experience, vocational, where they're able to do something for uh, uh, giving employment opportunities to others. Tertiary, that is service sector, all these kind of education should be made a part of the curriculum in the universities and higher educational institutions, so that the students and the youth are becoming more self-reliant and contribute to the development of the society. What we and government can do, we can provide education for all starting from an early age. Of course, we know that education is compulsory for all children up to the age of 14 here in India. In a safe, positive and right perspective, we should ensure that education is given for all. Training, of course, whatever we study, they should be given a hands-on training. Then in a better future, we will have students who are trained by motivated teachers, and education is made available equally to all without discrimination. That's the key point. We're not going to discriminate anybody on the basis of any caste, creed, or religion, or based on a gender or any geographical location from which they come to. So all these barriers are going to be shunned. Moving on to the next SDG, goal is gender equality, very essential. Gender, here we have male and female. So here, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. I am here assuming that male members are having a prominence and empowerment. So we are going to talk more about here empowerment of girls and women. Gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful and sustainable world. Equal access is given in education to all, decent work and representation in political and economic decision-making processes are given, are not only rights women should have, but they are also very essential because they benefit the humanity at large. So if education and economic decision making a right is given to the women, then that family improves, then automatically that nation improves. So women are the pillar for any family and the nation. So we should give equality in all the aspects to the girls and the women. Statistics say that in India, out of 48.5% of women population, only 27.4% are in workforce and employed. So we find here that almost 21% of the women are present in the country, but they are not employed. That means they're doing household work and domestic work at home, but they are not able to earn. That doesn't undermine the contribution made by women because they are the pillars for any house. You see mothers, sisters, and their role, which is very essential and the backbone for any family's growth and achievement. At the global level, we see that 1 out of 3 women have experienced sexual violence in their lifetimes. That's very pathetic because many things don't come out, but this is a statistic that have been portrayed in the global level. Target for 2030, eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls in the public and private spheres, including trafficking and sexual and other exploitation. Adopt sound policies and legislation for the promotion of gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls. That's very important because if you don't respect women and girls, then that nation will not prosper, because you see that when you go to the employment arena, you see that all the top positions, there is a glass ceiling present there. You see the people at the top positions. Statistics reveal that many are men, because women are supposed to be balancing their families. That's the reason they are not able to occupy high chair or high positions. It doesn't mean that they are not capable, because they are balancing a lot of their family and professional life. So what we can do, women and girls worldwide often live disadvantaged lives. Here's what we can do about it. End all violence against women and girls, including trafficking, sexual exploitation, forced marriages, and female genital mutilation. Recognize and value women's work at home. I said that 21% of the population are working at home. Doesn't mean that they are not, since they're not paid, or doesn't mean that they are not working. They are the pillars. And the third point is encourage women and girls to participate in all political, economic, and public spheres. That requires a tremendous change in the mindset of all the people, that is the men and the family members. Fourth, equal rights under the law. You have rights. That's what the law says. But how well we implement the law and enforce the law is the point that needs to be debated. Thank you. I will come with other goals in the next part. Thank you.